Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Fog. It's been, checks watch, a time. A while.
2 months?
Yeah. Not so much with the fortnightly thing, but someone went gallivanting overseas.
Ooh.
But here we are, back for some fun times. Okay, so just to quickly recap where we
My
were
name is
at.
Kiplay, and today on behalf of the
I'm so sorry. I didn't think that was going to autoplay. I was double checking something. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh dear. Okay, just to recap. So last session we departed from Boblin Town and headed along the road and only got waylaid a little bit by some interesting individuals.
Scary skeleton.
And you've made it to Kiplay, and have gone straight to a bed and breakfast where you have paid your dues, signed in, etc., and are now gathering around the dining table. Now because it has been a little while, we're gonna ease back into this nice and easy. So we're gonna start with a little bit of an opportunity to just chat, just have the characters chat for a bit, and then you can decide what you want to do after that. So we are now in this very cute, very picturesque little dining room, and there are no other people around. Owen is sitting at the head of the table, looking ominous as he does.
All right. Well, in that case, yes, no. Okay. No, I thought I had someone else attempt to say a thing. I was
Nope. The awkward silence was there.
Awkward silence was there. That's right. Gil's good at those. Gil's gonna sort of shuffle a little bit closer up to I gotta remember everybody's names, damn it. Audacity. And sort of nervously look up, look down, look back up, and I may not be able to do the voice with my sinuses still full of guck, but we'll see how we go. You seem pretty comfortable with that sword.
We've had as much time on the road as I have. You got to be fairly good with the sword. It keeps you safe. I mean, it's the first time I've had to fight skeletons that weren't inside people. They don't respond to stabbing quite as well as I'm used to. You try and stab them in the heart, and there's gaps between the ribs, and nothing happens. Don't like it.
Yeah, skeletons can be a bit like that. It's even worse when you get your head stuck inside one. Anyway, point is,
Just speaking from experience there.
it's happened once or twice. Hey, do you? I mean, with the sword, how did you get started with that? It seems pretty niche.
I mean, it's not that niche, but maybe that's just where I'm from. You find somebody who's good with a sword and get them to teach you. Usually, you end up finding someone who uses a sword who looks cool and deciding to be like them. Turns out, if you go to enough theaters as a kid, you'll see them fighting on the stage, and then you just go, "Well, I'm getting me a sword." And then you get yourself a sword, and then you got a sword.
So this is probably going to be a very weird question, but what's a theater?
Well, that's a new one. Big room where you pay.
You don't have to explain if you don't want to. I was just curious.
Big room where you give them some money to get in, and then they you watch people playing pretend at stuff.
Oh, like people telling stories around dinner, and when they get up and they tell stories or sing or dance or whatever, sort of like that, but in a big room that you pay for.
Yeah, pretty much. Then the people who are doing it all the time can, not do anything else, which seems like a pretty good deal to me. It's almost the life I went into, but got a sword instead.
Can I just ask, where are we having this conversation again?
Dinner table at the B&B.
Yeah,
Okay,
in the
what
dining
B&B?
room. So
But,
it's,
like,
it's
fine.
in public, technically speaking, but you're inside, in the dining room of the bed and breakfast.
Yeah. Hortense isn't contributing to this conversation because she is inhaling an uncomfortable amount of eggs. Like it's like scrambled eggs. Like picture how many eggs you think is too many eggs and then double that. That's how many eggs
The
this
wrong-
woman's eating.
This is just how
Right,
Hortense
one thing,
eats,
what
isn't
you
it?
heard was give me a lot of eggs. What I said was give me all the eggs you have. Level
Yeah,
eggs.
it's exactly like that bit from Parks and Rec.
Please tell me there's cabbage
This is how
involved.
Hortense eats. She just consumes, like this tiny, like wizened old woman. The amount of food you think she will need and the amount of food she puts away are wildly disproportionate.
You can never tell.
Like at the last place, it was pancakes. It was an uncomfortable amount of pancakes.
Yeah, that's just how Hortense do.
Okay, so character arc is learning to make Hortense comfortable with the amount of ridiculous food she eats.
I
No,
think
she's
it's Hortense's
comfortable with it. The
It's
other
everyone
people
else.
at the B&B aren't. I'm not chewing. I'm just swallowing egg. It's
I'm
uncomfortable
imagining
to look at.
bird-like
It's uncomfortable to hear.
I thought I was the one who spent the day obsessing over iguanas.
He's like a duck. Oh dear. Oh man. Okay. I'm just gonna draw a
Alright,
card.
well,
What have we got?
Gil's gonna turn to, is it Justin? Sorry, I'm
I put it in the
super
roll
bad with
zone.
names.
Everyone's names for those of us who do not have good recollection at the moment. Oh dear. I also need to look up
so
a
turn
card meaning.
to Justin and say, is that how you picked up your sword too? Because of the theatre?
Cannot hear you at the moment, James. No, that is not working.
James is muted at the moment.
It wasn't before and it wasn't working.
Oh, okay, weird. Are you on
What about now?
Haha!
Hey, there you go.
Okay, that explains. I thought because I actually spoke at various points in time, but
Sorry.
Sorry.
We weren't ignoring you, I
retroactively
promise.
conversation. Happy to retroactively converse.
no, I didn't learn from the theater, and actually it's kind of funny because I wasn't really meant to learn how to use swords or spears or anything like that. I was brought up in a very large, famous library. Raised to be a wizard or a spellcaster of some sort, but I kind of wasn't really a very good student, and I ended up leaving basically. I encountered a couple, well, basically a group of mercenaries that were visiting at the library, and I kind of talked them into letting me tag along, and I was with them for a while, and a kind of big unfortunate thing happened, and we sort of got separated, and yeah, I've just been on my own up until now, basically.
I am.
Hi.
Present company excluded, obviously. Mercenaries and I have never really got on very well, but we seem to be making it work.
Why did
Yeah, I mean,
have so much
mercenaries are
sheet open?
they're kind of like they can be absolutely anyone, and so they could be the absolute worst people in the world, or they could be the absolute best people in the world. It's kind of like it's just a profession that doesn't really necessarily have bearing on what doesn't really necessarily have bearing on what you might on being a good person or a bad person. Though I imagine actually, yeah, I mean it does definitely attract a lot of scary people for sure. My group was very friendly and lovely though.
I mean,
People are often willing to think the worst of people on their appearance. And Owen's just going to sort of look at Audacity. It's like, wouldn't you agree, Lady Audacity?
I mean, when you got the horns and the wings, people tend to assume some things. I mean, technically there's some devil blood there, but really that's just being bad at paperwork. But the thing I found with mercenaries is that if you find people who are going to fight for coin, it really depends on who's paying them. Some people will pay mercenaries to be arseholes. Some people pay mercenaries to hit arseholes with sticks.
Did you know your parents, Audacity?
Oh yeah, funny. Still going back in Icaset. Not exactly doing well on the money front because nobody wants to pay people with devil blood. Although you know that only really hits one half of the side.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't actually really remember anything beyond about 4 or 5 years of age. So, and I've kind of been in the library the whole time. So, not really actually sure where I come from. But
Well, that's
So
quite.
is your character librarian at birth?
That can be rough. It's although it sounds like if you had the library, you at least had a starting place, you know.
yeah, that's true. What about you? What about you, Gil?
I had a shit. I've forgotten the name. Hold up. I got you. I got you. That was enough.
And at this point, Julian's just kind of watching in amazement now at Hortense just eating and eating because she just hasn't stopped this whole time.
You are basically inaudible.
Hold on. Can I put my headphones?
I don't still have any technical difficulties, GIF. I used to have one.
How about now?
That's more audible.
I was saying, funnily enough, I'm actually eating eggs right now.
Method acting.
Flick made
Ah,
omelet
Flick,
and rice
sorry.
for dinner.
Amazing.
The super funny joke I made before that I don't think anyone caught was I asked James, were you assigned librarian at birth?
Oh, I thought so. You said something about birds, and I was very confused.
No, birth.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know.
I mean, the thing about that library is it sounds like, consistent source of food and somewhere to sleep, which sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I was grateful. I wasn't unhappy there exactly, even though I was a bad student. I just always wanted to be an adventurer, and I wanted to learn how to fight. And I ended up admiring a particular kind of famous hero. He's got lots of super cool like clothing lines and stuff like that. Anyway, I kind of just want to be just like him, and so I felt like I couldn't really do that while I was studying there, and I wasn't like I've retained some of it. Like I can remember some things, but I spent a fair chunk of that time just kind of like play fighting and stuff as a kid, and not actually and skipping a lot of lessons and things. I should probably know a lot more by this point, or by the point that I left. But yeah.
Not
But-
all
Not
places
all-
suit all people.
No.
If it wasn't a fit, then leaving was in your best interest.
It would be darkly funny if you grew up in a library, though, and didn't know how to read. I'm not saying it's a character choice that you should make or could make at this point, but it is a character choice that I would make.
Do you you've been around for a long time. Like, do you what have you been up to? Have you been a merchant all your life, or?
I mean, I'm very old, so I haven't been anything for that much time. Mostly just a traveler. I get bored being in one place. I get very impatient. You may have noticed.
What's that?
No.
Hortense and patient? Never. I've been lots of things, but yeah, just gotta keep moving, gotta keep seeing new stuff.
I suppose
not-
that's one way to describe what we found ourselves in.
We're in a
Yes,
new place,
definitely a new place.
and eventually we'll be in a newer place.
But mine seeing a couple of the old places. Some of them are complete holes, but some of them were nice.
I mean, there was this one bakery that I went to that had like a really good apple turnover. I would like to go back there, but I don't remember where it was.
We'll just have to try bakeries until we find it.
That's what I was thinking. We just go to every single bakery until you find it again.
But what if I find an apple? What if I never find it? Oh well, I guess I'll just eat other baked goods.
Well, you're an elf, right? So it doesn't really matter. You got a lot of time.
Oh, I thought you were like. I'm gonna be honest. I thought that was a weird kind of racism for a second there.
Oh,
Like it doesn't. Like it doesn't matter if you don't enjoy apple turnovers. But I understand what you mean. Eventually, I'll find it again.
Yes, I was going. That's
I
exactly.
have a lot of time for eating baked goods, and I gotta say, I kind of envy that.
Can someone explain to me what apple turnover is?
Well, you get an apple and you turn it over. No?
No, it's like you get like pastry, and you put cooked apple in it with cream, and then you fold it in, and then you put sugar over the top. It's a bit more complicated than that, but it's really good.
Owen is shaking his head at you, Audacity. He's just slowly shaking his head.
The ominous friend. You don't get to say anything at this point. And me old elven friend, you don't put cream in them, that's disgusting.
Yes, you do.
Well, you shouldn't. You seal the edge up, put cream in there, and then you ice the top.
No, and this is Carolina speaking now. That's not. That's not.
Speaking as well. My Victorian hates use this thing where you put cream in them. It's worst.
That's red. No. You gotta put the cream inside, and then it's like slightly open. It's delicious.
No, you seal it up, and then
No.
you ice the top instead of sugar that goes everywhere.
You heard it here, folks. The pastry discourse.
Those are actually my favorite pastry.
I love apple turnovers, but I hate the New South Wales version. Anyway,
Oh,
back to
dear.
character.
Oh dear. Omen is still just very slowly shaking his head at this turn of conversation.
You was just like looking between you two, like intent concentration, but also utter confusion.
My little fishy friend, have you had baked goods?
Well, the other day we had pancakes, right?
I thought. Hortense, I think we're gonna declare you the one to introduce Gil to every type of baked good and pastry we can find.
Yeah, okay. I'm alright with this. Well,
What's your-
like next time we're near a bakery, we'll get some baked goods, and then we'll eat them, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah, sounds good.
With the way that the towns in this place are arranged, and with the interesting wildlife along the roads, I suspect each town will have a bakery, so the opportunity will arise, I'm sure.
And then Chen will have to decide what kind of apple turnovers they have.
I will make up a roll chart and we will just roll a dice. I will put this in my notes as vastly important.
On a
You
natural
thought the encounter tables were going to be for monsters. Joke's on you. We've discovered one of the party members doesn't know what a muffin is.
Oh dear.
I just can't wait to see Hortense judging like everything in whichever bakery we walk into, basically.
I think we might be able to sell tickets to that, to be honest. I gotta say, there's something a bit freeing about going into towns where nobody knows you. It's a bit refreshing, I gotta be honest.
Well, it is something I am fairly used to, if I'm honest.
I mean, being mysterious is kind of your deal.
It is. And I haven't made a habit of going to the same place twice.
Yeah, I kind of, had the usual stomping grounds, and then people start to know you for stomping.
Are
All
you
the way
famous
down
for
to
infinite
the
audacity?
size of your boot.
Oh, sure I wouldn't want to admit to anything.
Actually, Hopetown was the first town I've ever been to. So I'm 2 for 2 on not being known, I guess.
I think this is number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, 3. It has been, hasn't it?
I gotta say, Hopetown wasn't scoring high as far as towns go. I mean, the volcano didn't help, but
It was wet. I liked it.
I mean, that makes sense. I usually try to get to places that are, not so soggy.
It had lots of tourists. It was useful for my purposes.
I mean, I wasn't exactly plying a trade there, but if I'd been there much longer, I might have started doing a little bit of business.
I'm glad we got moving. I'm really interested in finding out what's going to happen now that we're here and we've really started moving on. It's going to be good fun.
I mean, we don't really have anything that we're trying to do so far. We've just kind of, been moving forward, but it'll be interesting to see if we do find something that needs whatever attention.
Well, I mean, we have a goal now.
Do we?
Introduce Gale to baked goods.
Where is that?
There are worse quests.
I've seen at least 3 that are worse.
It's a fetch quest, sure, but
it's a fetch quest of baked goods that we get to eat.
yeah, exactly. It's not like we're fetching them to deliver to some city lord. We get to eat the muffins.
Someone once told me that one of the best ways to bake any sort of pastry, even though it's kind of difficult, is to actually take it to the summit of a volcano.
I always find that you get a really uneven crust. Like it'll and it's really hard to blind bake on a volcano.
Oh, interesting.
You look in the wrong spot and you might blind yourself. Although I gotta say, I've heard people talking about baking using dragon fire, but the trick there is picking the right sort of dragon.
Whoa, yeah.
You get it to a red dragon, it'll be overcooked. You get it to a white dragon, and you've just got frozen dough. No good.
And if you take it to a green dragon, then that's just... Yeah, don't go there.
Unless you're making brownies.
Want to make brownies, you gotta go to the Feywild.
My head is in my hands. Oh my god.
Also, Flick just emerged from her room and then went, "Do you want your cake?"
Oh, what an adorable cake. I love it.
It's a strawberry moon cake.
That is so nice.
I know, right? It's very I think it's adorable of us, but our nickname for having a cup of tea, we call it a dicking. So we'll go, hey, do you want a dicking? And so Flick just came out of her room and just went.
I will remind you, I publish these on the internet.
The video as well as the audio.
No, it's just the audio.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Look, it makes us laugh. And then so she did that motion and then asked me if I wanted cake. And I was like, yes, absolutely. I want both of those things. So basically, I married up.
Oh, dear.
You married somebody classier than you. Congratulations.
Oh, my goodness.
And it wasn't that hard.
All right.
Shall we go back to the characters?
Yes. Does anyone else have any conversation points they want to poke at for us a bit, or
No,
are we
I'm
still talking about bread? Oh gosh. Yes, it is at this point. Omen is going to pull out his deck of cards, and he's going to shuffle them for a while a lot of this bread and baking with different coloured dragons conversation is happening. Just a very slow, thoughtful shuffle of the cards before he pulls one out and places it in front of him on the table. And while the conversation has been going on and you've been eating, Omen hasn't touched the food at all. In fact, he's not eaten in front of you, any of you, at any point during any of this. But he just sort of puts the card in front of him and just sort of looks at it for a well, you assume you can't see his face, but he just sort of looks at it for a long moment.
He points his hood at it.
He points his hood at it, yeah. And then tilts his head to one side. And when the conversation kind of peters off the topic of pastry for a brief moment, and there's a bit of a natural pause in it, he goes, all thoughts of pastries and bakeries aside, we came across the fog because we were called here. The cards showed us visions of what could be and what could not. And we've not found anything indicated by those visions thus far.
That.
Thank you, Google. I appreciate that. Shut up. Yeah, and he sort of says this and is looking at the card in front of him, which is still face down on the table.
What do you think that card is going to be?
It's hard to say.
Gio's going to sort of shrink a little bit into the chair, watching the card warily.
I mean, really, isn't it like not too hard to say what the card's going to be? You just kind of flip them over, see what look at it. I mean, I'm not the one to be dealing with the magic stuff. Like, if there's magic stuff that I can't stop, then I'm not good. But I mean, your cards are a bit. Are you named after them because they're ominous as fuck?
They have a strange way of speaking. It's true. And he flips the card over, and because my camera isn't working, I'm just going to quickly find you a picture of the card that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Images. Yeah, there you go. There's a nice picture of that. I'll just put it in the art and stuff channel here for you. So he flips the card over, and this is the one that is sitting up on the table. The horseman. And
We've seen that one before, I think.
possibly, yeah. And for our listeners on YouTube who cannot see the picture, the horseman is a skeleton riding a scary, off-putting looking horse with a sword. And he's just sort of looking at it.
I mean, that's a bit of a creepy looking card. Didn't we stab a couple of those guys earlier today? They didn't have horses, though. Or am I being too literal here?
When the cards have not been arranged in such a way that their meanings can be focused, it can be more difficult to decipher what it is they're speaking about. But you are correct. We did encounter some skeletal foes on the road. Our roads that are often travelled by horsemen.
Didn't we come up with something? Jill sounds sort of defeated and like it doesn't really want to be saying this, but didn't we also come across some kind of interesting information about where they might have come from? I don't know, is that...
Yeah, no, that does sound familiar. From memory, they weren't. It seemed as if they weren't like intentionally raised by a necromancer or anything like that. More so, they were a product of the environment itself. From memory.
Aimless. Masterless. The undead at the hands of a necromancer are one thing. But those left to roam wild are very much another.
Ooh.
But having said all of that, the horseman is not solely dedicated to death and death-related arts. It can also speak of disaster, wealth or property, horrible defeat, or the end of a legacy or a bloodline. The cards very rarely speak of one meaning. So it is hard to say.
I mean, does that necessarily have to be a bad thing, though? I mean, kind of depends on who it's happening to. I can think of a few people where if all of that spooky stuff you just said happened to them, might be raising a glass to the horseman.
Some things
Well,
are
I mean,
inevitable.
those eggs, that enormous amount of eggs, definitely suffered a defeat from Hortense. So, I mean, there is that. But
Hortense has finally finished eating the eggs.
We arranged for you to be in a room on your own as well again, didn't we? Oh, we
Yeah.
did. Is otherwise,
Yeah.
doom and disaster and whoever's sharing a room.
Well, we put me we put me in a different room because as I established previously, I snore very, very loudly. Basically, I'm a terrible traveling companion.
I'm thinking tonight you might be snoring from both ends.
Hortense, I have a very robust digestive system. I'll be fine. You don't get to my age and be as fit as I am if you don't take care of your digestive health.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Questions on that topic?
Julian lifts up his glass and just kind of does like a mock tink towards you.
Cheers. Cheers
I
the
mock
air.
Tink back.
Tink.
Omen, sorry to interrupt. I think you were trying to be spooky and ominous there for us. And we kind of got into the fart jokes.
I do realize that the way that I see the world and the way everyone else does is a very different thing. So I'm well acquainted with that sort of thing, Lady Audacity.
Like, I'm not saying that the world's not out to do horrible things to me. I fully believe that it is. I just, if the world's not going to show me any respect, I shouldn't show the world much respect back.
That's not an unhealthy attitude to have.
You say that now.
Well, until something proves me incorrect. And he just sort of holds the card between two fingers and just sort of holds it out in your direction. Not to take, but just sort of gesturing at you with the card.
Wait, gesturing at Audacity? Or...
Yeah, just at Audacity with the Horseman card.
Audacity just kind of watches the card and... Now, is this the part of the card trick where you put 3 down and start shuffling them and I gotta keep track of the lady? Is that a card trick?
I don't perform parlor tricks. With the Taroka cards, Lady Audacity. It is most disrespectful.
Ask me how I know.
I think that kind of covered under... If the cards are gonna predict doom for me, I might continue in my ways about them, like the world.
Well, in this particular case, this card is not necessarily pointed at any of us.
I mean, right now it is the way you're holding it.
And again, you're taking it far too literally.
I do that. It keeps me amused.
Can it represent an event?
It can. Depending on how one reads it. If it were part of a layout, then perhaps it could be. But on its own, with no guidance to its meaning, it is open to more interpretation than normal. It could be referring to the skeletons we encountered. It could be referring to something else. Something in our future. Something nearby. Someone nearby. It is hard to say. But we will find out in due course, I'm sure.
Well, I gotta say, the completely open-ended meeting is kind of fun, because we have there's nothing we can do about what it's telling us. We just kind of have to act surprised when it happens, and then nod at each other knowingly. Kind of
surprised how often that happens.
20 minutes from now, we all have to do the surprise Pikachu face.
Oh dear, oh dear.
I mean, have we considered that maybe skeletons are just native to this land?
They might be a local type of fungus with swords.
That's very true.
Yep.
Can I get a history check from you, Julian, please?
Sure thing.
Also, I don't suppose that anyone here has ever watched Kyo Karamara, have they?
Have which what?
Watched Kyo Karamara?
No.
It's an anime that I enjoy. It's not good, but I watched it at a formative age, so it's important to me. And they have skeletons. I've put it in the out of character text chat. They're called bonies, and they're flying skeleton people.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, I've seen this still from... I recognize this. I haven't seen the anime, but I recognize this.
Oh,
It's quite possibly one of the cringiest animes ever made, but I watched it when I was in high school, so I love it.
Fair enough.
That's
all right,
fair.
that's a 15. So Julian, when it's suggested that maybe the skeletons are native to this beyond the fog kind of land. You put in mind of that vision you had back in Hope Town of the monsters appearing on the roads, and the impression that you got was that this land used to be free of such things, so you don't think that that's normal by any stretch.
Very, very unusual.
So they're an invasive species like cane toads, but with swords.
Yeah, well, in a sense. Interesting.
The idea of skeletons being an invasive, this is totally out of character, but the idea of skeletons being an invasive species and the like denizens of a particular land just not having skeletons at all, just sort of mushing their way around the countryside until skeletons happen to them.
There is an entire section of the monster manual on oozers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So yeah, everything just didn't have a spine yet here, until the skeletons came, or something that was the skeletons. Anyway, that's what my history roll has taught me.
The 4 tribes of oozers lived together in harmony, and then everything changed when the skeletons attacked.
Bearing in mind, like I said before, I wasn't super good with my studies, but I have a feeling it's something like that.
I mean, the dead coming back to life with no good reason is not usually a thing, because it's kind of hard to make that happen. So someone or something must be doing it. We just either have to find out what it is or not. I mean, speaking personally, I'd rather be dealing with things that I can actually, stab. All of my fighting skills are based around just stabbing something. Skeletons, you stab them and it.
Is
We could
anyone
get you-
doing tracking?
Start them with the pommel.
Well, we could get you a big sledgehammer, and then you can grind them into dust.
Sounds like a lot of effort.
Not if we get you a really big sledgehammer.
We lifted the damn thing.
Maybe we'll get a 2-person sledgehammer.
I think that's called a battering ram.
Then we'll get one of those.
That's so long as it's not Gil on the other side, because then I'm carrying the battering ram and the fish.
Yeah, probably accurate.
I mean, not that I mind carrying it, there's not much to you, but I don't want to be hitting anyone with you. I should come to think of it. But give
Smash 6 sessions later in the campaign where Keel's getting yeeted at someone. Anyway.
Come to think of it, if I give you a knife and then drop you on someone while I'm flying overhead, that could be comedy gold.
What did you want to say, Julian?
Not good with knives, but
I was just saying, if anyone was any good, definitely not me, Julian. Any good at tracking or looking for little skeleton footprints or anything like that, we could try and figure out if they're congregating somewhere or something like that.
Like some kind of bone strong yard.
Yeah.
Yard? Stop. What is the word I'm trying to think of?
Old
Stronghold?
graveyard?
I think I got stuck between stronghold and graveyard. Ended up with
Strong yard.
strong yard.
The third of the brothers to Strong Bad. Lee, your audio basically didn't come through.
Oh, sorry. Let me see if...
It's coming through now. It's just the last thing you said was basically not.
Oh, I just said I have a +2 in survival, which includes tracking for when we're discussing roles and things. But sorry, continue the strong bad references first.
I think turning it into a Strong Bad reference was about as far as I was going with that.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Well, in any case, trying to track the dead in the dead of night seems ill-advised. If that
I
is
thought
the
it was
direction we
sometime.
want to take, we should wait until morning.
Oh, sorry. I thought we'd already rested up. Sorry.
I thought this was morning.
No,
That's
it's
why I
Yeah.
was eating so many eggs.
This is dinner.
Oh no.
Oh. Well, I guess I won't be having eggs for breakfast. That's too many eggs, even for Hortense.
No, this was the evening. Oh dear.
I don't know why, but when I think of bed and breakfast, you said it was a bed and breakfast.
Yes.
And so I think subconsciously I just thought every meal at a bed and breakfast is inherently a breakfast.
It can be.
It can be.
We're on a continent.
Well, it's morning sometime, somewhere. So
Whiskey in your coffee. It's always Ireland somewhere.
Mhm.
Also,
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of only being able to eat certain foodstuffs at certain times of the day is barbaric.
Yeah.
Like, just eat what you want to eat when you want to eat it.
So back to the game.
Mm.
No, that was Hortense speaking.
Ah.
That was Hortense in character.
Right.
Oh dear.
all right. At this point, Julian does a very big yawn and suggests that he might go to bed soon, and that we should, and then we should maybe try and find some means to track. Either ask around town about their presence, or maybe just try and look for them in the morning.
I think if there being a problem, then I think we should be able to come across them again and see what's happening.
It seems as good a direction as any. Tomorrow will hold all sorts of things, I'm sure.
Shall we allow time to pass and go to the next morning?
Yes. Yes, we shall.
Sounds good.
Right. Cool. So, after a very uneventful evening, and I'm not going to make everybody go over their morning routines again because that did take a while last time. There's coffee. I'm also still not eating in front of everybody. There's more coffee, etc. And now you are departing the bed and breakfast, or you're standing in the foyer, I suppose is a better way to say it. And the lady who runs the B&B is behind that little counter that she was standing behind when you guys arrived yesterday. And she's looking at you rather expectantly as you all gather.
We did pay her, right?
We did.
Yep.
Is it about the eggs?
You can ask her.
I'm really sorry. I approach her and say, I'm really sorry if she ate you out of if Hortense ate you out of house and home. Is there anything I can do about that?
Oh no, it's quite all right. It's quite surprising given well, first impressions, but no, it's quite all right. She's not the very first to have quite an appetite. It happens. It's no trouble at all.
No worries. Well, thank you very much. I can't help but think you wanted to maybe say something, or that I'm missing something. Is everything all right in this town?
Oh, yes?
We just kind of got ambushed by skeletons, we call them from where we're from.
Oh. Well, no, everything's fine in this town. And you're welcome to roll an insight if you like. Everyone is welcome to.
I want to do
Alright.
a old-fashioned 3.5 cents motive.
Wrong dice spot. Oh, audacity. Oh,
Oh dear.
is anyone else gonna roll inside? I think they need help.
Alright.
I zoned out for 10 seconds. Am I meant to be rolling? I'm sorry.
We're rolling inside on the lady who runs the bed and breakfast, who said
okay,
everything
cool.
is fine.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. I'm suspicious and I would like to roll inside, please. Okay. Nope.
I got a
Okay,
10.
we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's see what Omen does. Your insight is +5.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh my god.
Okay, sure, Omen. Nat 20. Why not? Why does the NPC get that? Oh gosh. Okay. So, she goes, "Oh no, everything is fine in town." Julian, you take that 100% at face value.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
It's not good with people and just glosses over this conversation.
Uh-huh.
She fed us. She must be honest.
Let's see.
Hortense had a bad night's sleep because she ate too many eggs. And so she's like in a bit of a fugue state. There's like, can we just leave, please?
Well, you got it. Hortense got a 10. Okay, so that's average. It's not terrible, but it's not great. So like maybe you weren't 100% listening when she was saying it, so you didn't quite get the attempts at covering things up, I guess. But you kind of get this feeling like her going, "Oh no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. There's nothing wrong with the town." There's something not true about that. And then Omen with a nat 20. God damn it.
What'd you get for having a DMPC?
Yeah, I know. He turns himself fully to face her, and he's just sort of shifted his shoulders a bit. And I'm not going to make everybody roll it again, but everyone can just sort of see that something has piqued his interest about what was said.
Is everything all right, Omen?
I feel that the young miss might be somewhat dishonest. And he kind of leans over towards this woman a bit, and she is a normal height.
Yes.
Omen is 7 foot tall. So she's kind of...
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna roll a persuasion for this guy. Because he's the only one who can really tell. I mean, 17. Yeah, okay. What did I say that this was? Let me look at my notes. Okay.
Shannon is currently playing both parts of this game.
I know.
Well, Daphne kind of steps over to be next to Omen and just kind of left hand resting on the pommel of her sword, just comfortably, but in a I am aware of the position of my sword sort of pose.
Mm-hmm. So, what you all see is Omen sort of just tilting the upper part of his body over just slightly, just to give a little bit of a gentle loom over this woman. And she leans back in kind. And she just shakes her head and nope, I'm not being dishonest at all. Everything's fine. There's nothing going on. And I'm going to give this to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
She is lying.
I did eat too many eggs, didn't I?
I mean, yes, but that's kind of not the point of this, I'm thinking.
I mean, Julian asked earlier, and she said it was all right, but I've eaten all of your eggs, haven't I?
Is there a window nearby?
Yep. There's a
All right,
pair of little
Gil?
windows, one on either side of the front door.
Gil's going to sidle on up to one of those and sort of take a look out and have a look around, knowing this, and see if it can spot anything unusual about the town.
All right. Roll a perception.
Also, can I ask? I remember the last session, Gil got a weird little friend. What's up with
Yes.
that?
Oh, that was the one before.
What was the one
last
before? I have no understanding of time.
I was
No.
That's okay. Where is my character sheet gone? It disappeared. Hold up. I know how to get it back. Give me a second. In the meantime, so all we know about the weird little dude is it eats ceramics and non-organic things. It is, it has some sort of magic ability to control rock, and it is currently living inside of GL, which is worrying on several levels. And it can't swim.
It can't swim, it can't fly. His name is Steel. And he's cute.
Yes.
I mean, same. The not swimming and not flying part. I'm not living inside Gil, to my knowledge.
No, I think Gil can only fit one passenger.
That would be a plot twister. Like, this whole story is just taking place inside of Gil.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
dear.
while Gil is over
Really?
looking out the window, Audacity kind of looks up at Omen, looks at the owner of the place, and kind of. Okay, so it's kind of clear that you're a bad liar, but is this the sort of trouble where you're being threatened, or the sort of trouble where you don't want us finding out about it? Because those are two very different stories.
Okay. I'll quickly do that perception roll for Gil first, and then I will respond to that. So you look out the window, and
Yep.
for all intents and purposes, it looks like a normal, cheerful town. You can't really see anything obvious that's out of place. Like, quite frankly, the party is the most out of place thing in this place.
I am a fifth person, yes.
Mhm. Yeah,
I am
so
a winged devil.
yeah, so no, there's nothing particularly obvious. No one's behavior seems odd or anything like that. Not so far as you can tell. Not with that 10.
Okay.
So yeah, Audacity, you've just made some very stern words at this woman. And she leans back a little bit more. No one's threatening, no one's keeping anything from you. Everything's fine. It really, really is.
But if she just kind of starts idly playing with the tip of one of her horns and just kind of glares at her because this is getting oddly suspicious. Can I roll an intimidation at this point?
You may.
Fun fact, that's one of the things I have expertise in. And hopefully this time I won't
Yeah,
roll.
that's what I thought when I rolled the perception check, and yet.
And yet, hey, that's the business. Okay. She sort of shrinks down a little bit, and like between Omen, who has not moved from his light loom, and then you going in at her as well, she sort of shrinks down, and you can just sort of see the color drain from her face a little bit. And she goes, it's not something people are really talking about, but it's the mayor said that the curse would go away on its own.
Oh, well, that's never a good sign.
Did you say curse or ghost?
Curse.
Oh, okay. That's not how curses work.
Usually not, no.
I mean, unless they're linked to a specific bloodline, and then the curse ends when that bloodline ends.
Yeah, but that's usually just a paperwork problem.
It hasn't affected anyone else in town, so we're just trying to carry on.
Who has it affected?
He was a woodcutter.
I don't mean to be gauche. So you said the woodcutter.
Well, he was a woodcutter, not the woodcutter, but yes.
Oh, okay. Is the woodcutter an a-hole? Did he deserve to be cursed?
I didn't know him personally, so I don't know.
Oh, you didn't know him. So has he shuffled off the mortal coil?
I think it's just a large town and they're not all acquainted with one another, possibly.
Well, didn't know him is past tense. I don't know him. And she said, I didn't know him.
When you ask whether or not he's dead, she kind of pulls a face as if she's not quite sure how to answer that question.
Is he a living skeleton now?
No.
I was really hoping. Okay, this is Carolina as a second. I was really hoping that the invasive species of skeletons was just people being turned into skeletons prematurely, but apparently not.
Skeleton's just like, good day to you. I'm tired of being wet. Let me step out of these things.
Let me just change into something a bit drier. I'm not gonna lie.
Character, but I just need to pause. Get you out of these wet things.
I'm not gonna lie. For like literally half a second, I was prepping to be so proud of myself and be like, "That's what the curse is. It's turning the townspeople into skeletons." And then you were like, "No," and I'm like, "Damn it! That's why I should never feel preemptive pride."
Audacity kind of rolls her eyes at the woman. It's like, so it's clear that something's going on. You know what the thing is. Would you like to tell us what the curse is before we just sit here?
I mean, we could spend the next 20 minutes guessing it, though.
Or we could ask.
I mean, yeah, it's easier.
No, he's not. He didn't turn into a skeleton. I don't really want to talk about it. But if you go to the gate, you'll find him there.
The gate to the town?
Well, that sounds like something to do with our morning. Would you like to point out which gate it is? Or does this town only have the one gate?
No, it's only got the one.
I feel like we would have seen him on the way in then. Anyway.
I mean, we came in at night. So maybe, like, if it's like a Shrek type thing, but like in reverse. You know how Fiona would turn into an ogre at night?
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe he's the reverse. So maybe he looks normal at night, but like weird during the day.
Ooh.
I hate that Shrek has become our cultural touchstone for this concept.
My doorbell just rang. 1 sec.
I absolutely love Shrek. It's actually a tradition of my wife and I that because we watched it the day before we got married, that at our anniversary we watched Shrek 1 and 2 the day before.
Yeah, see, I appreciate what Shrek did for the state of pop culture. I can't rewatch it every time. I'm like, this is not as good as it was when I was a teenager.
Yeah, 20-year-old movies will do that.
Shrek, the first Shrek is, I think it's still good, but I also have like positive connections in my brain with it now. But Shrek 2 is objectively a good movie.
I think I've just seen it maybe too many times. I don't know. It's fun fact. It is the most common VHS in the world.
I love that.
Okay.
Not necessarily undeserving at all, but
I am back. All right. Cool.
What do you think, Shannon? Is Shrek 2 a cinematic masterpiece or just fine?
I have no opinion. Okay, so the lady has said that if you go to the town gate, you will find the woodcutter who has been cursed there, and seems distinctly uncomfortable with the concept of saying anything further.
Yeah, I think we've rattled this person enough. Let's go to the gate.
Just before we leave, can I ask, is there a breakfast buffet?
Yes, and you would have availed of it already.
Okay, as we walk
That
past,
part of our morning.
I want to grab a pancake off the stack of it and put it in my pocket.
Okay, sure. Why
It's
not?
what do you call it? The guy with the gun. And then it becomes
narrows it
useful
down
later.
so little.
Oh,
It's like
Chekhov's.
it's Chekhov's pancake.
Like, the guy with the gun runs through list of every movie character.
No, I meant Chekhov. Thank you for understanding what I meant from such little information.
Although I'm pretty sure if it's Chekhov, it was a phaser.
Hey. I understood that reference.
All right, so
I believe we proceed to the town gate.
all right.
Yes.
And,
Cool.
all Nancy does her usual tuck the cloak around the wings thing, make sure they're not too obvious.
All right. Easy peasy. Okay, so you head to the town gate, and I get to show you a piece of art.
Something is ringing in my head that we got to the town and made terrible perception checks on the way in, and this might be the consequence. I can't remember. Did we all just blatantly miss this last session?
I don't recall. I only listened to the last little bit of the session just to remind myself it ended. All right, where are we going? All right, so you get to the town gate, and the first thing that you all notice is that it does not look any different to when you arrived yesterday. So just to recap, the gate is not the kind of gate where there's actually like a door to open and close. It's just an opening in the wall. But there is sort of like a foyer almost. So you got the front bit, and then there's a little space, and then there's another, like a little rectangle that sticks out from the main wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there is a tree in the middle of said foyery bit, and I have painstakingly painted you a picture.
Mm-hmm.
I have a vague memory that I made a joke about this tree, or I tried to do something to this tree. I don't remember what I did, but I remember riffing on this tree.
You rolled terribly when it came to looking at the tree.
Oh yeah,
You were
I,
a druid who knows
dissociated.
shit all about trees. Is what that situation was.
Look, I specify I'm a druid of pastries.
I hate to point it out, but I don't know if anybody else is thinking this, but last night I totally missed the fact that this looks like it has legs.
Oh,
Now that we've had the, I mean, if this is the woodcutter, it's a bit sure. See, this is why I don't have any truck with respect in the world. If they're gonna turn a woodcutter into a tree.
I mean, it is an ironic curse.
Exactly. Why should I respect the world that does this? If the world's gonna take the piss, I'm gonna take the piss right back.
Where are you
Gil's
taking it?
gonna get up close to the tree and have a look around, gently sort of climb it and squirrel around the branches and see if it can find anything.
Okay, sure, go for it. Roll an investigation.
Okay, let me double check what I have for that. Not nearly enough. Well, shit. Let's just roll the dice and see what happens, shall we? Press button. Nope.
It is, in fact, A tree.
Can I try again looking at it during the day? Because I think I looked at it at night.
Yep, you may.
If I fluff this, I think I will just be a druid of pastries. 14's not that bad.
Okay, yeah. Would anyone else like to roll as well, or?
Yeah.
He is familiar with like stabbing things. This doesn't seem like a problem that can be or has been stabbed.
I mean, you could stab it and see if it bleeds.
That seems impolite.
I'm just saying it's an option. Is it a good one? No, but it's an option.
We'll keep it in mind.
Okay, so you're not going to.
My rolls are on point today.
I just don't want to risk Omen getting another nat 20 because I don't really like talking to myself. Okay,
Can I
so
roll Arcana? Can I roll Arcana?
yeah, of course, go for it. Nine. Okay, so Gil it's a tree. With a 5, it's a tree. And Julian with a 9 for Arcana. There's nothing in particular that you can notice that's magical about this tree. But with the 10 and the 14, I'm assuming they were like nature rolls or something along those lines. Cat, get out of the damn way.
That last 10 was my investigation. So.
Yep. And Hortense, you rolled a nature or an investigation?
Oh, I rolled an investigation, but if I can roll a nature,
Yep.
because my nature, and my nature is also a +1, so it. Can I re-roll it? Because I got a 14 for investigation. Can I roll a nature check as well?
You can roll a nature check. Yes.
Okay. 18.
All right, cool. So at investigations, it looks like a tree. Like it seems like an odd place to put a tree, but it looks like any tree you've ever seen. But Hortense, you're looking at it, and when you stop looking at it from the perspective of just what's up with this tree and start looking at it from a tree's perspective, so to speak, it doesn't really strike you as having grown there. Like, there's nothing around it. There's no signs that it has actually sprung up from the earth. It almost seems like the roots instead have gone down into it. And the way that it's split, that doesn't normally happen in that way. So, like, yeah, you can get these big roots that go down like that, but the roots normally don't bunch like that. It seems as though the tree was made to grow here rather than grew here naturally. But not made to grow here in the same way as having a sapling planted here, and it made it deliberate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. I would like to communicate all of this to the rest of the group. Be like, this twee, apparently. Ooh, this is twee. I hate myself. Apparently this tree, it ain't right. This is not how trees are meant to do. I think judging from the fact that it clearly has legs. This used to be a dude.
Well, I suppose
possibly still is a dude.
Well, I suppose that means that we've found the woodcutter then. Or explain why it's in such a stupid position in the middle of the path. So as far as my experience with magical sort of stuff goes, might have been that this guy was talking to a demon and asked for the strength of an oak or something, and didn't word it very well. That's as far as my theories go.
I mean, there's a difference between a curse and a wish gone wrong, though.
Not if you're asking the wrong people.
Well, I mean, it's different in a magic sense because one is like I can't articulate why, but they're different. I think it's about why they're being cast.
I mean, I can accept that from a magical point of view because not my area of expertise. I've just got a bit of knowledge about devils being dickheads. But are we assuming that the mayor knows the difference there? Because I mean, we're one for our experience with mayors on this side of the fog has been fuckwits.
Well, I mean, the first mayor wasn't the first mayor in I'm gonna say Bob Boblin. He wasn't a total a-hole.
Not an a-hole, just a fuckwit. Or was that the head of the guards? Can't remember. A couple of official acting people that were fuckwits. But I'm just saying, maybe they're saying it as a curse because they don't know what's going on. Maybe they don't. But
I mean, we could just go and talk to him.
we could.
I wonder if the tree looks any different on the inside.
Let's not find out.
Oh, I think I've got an idea for a really harmless way of finding out.
That's creepy as fuck.
And then Julian just wheels out a hand cranked X-ray machine.
No.
Chainsaw?
You're a druid, right, Hortense?
I am a druid.
Do you reckon you could maybe transform into a really small bug or something?
So I do have wild shape. I've never had the opportunity to use it. So I can transform into a beast you've seen with CR 1-4 and no flying or swimming speed.
Yes.
How? Let me just give you a read. How do?
Wild shape is something that druids can do at will, provided they've got uses left. And yeah, like it says, so as long as you have seen this creature before and it is within the CR rating that you currently have the levels for, you can just turn into it. I believe at the level you're at, you can turn into an animal for an hour, I believe.
Okay.
But it just happens.
Tiny harmless bugs will be CR0, by the way.
Okay. Well, can I turn into a ladybug?
Absolutely not, because it has a flying speed.
Oh, can I turn into a centipede?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Absolutely not. Okay. Is it one of those situations where like I shrink down and like my clothes fall around me?
No. All of your clothes and gear kind of smooshes into you for the duration.
Okay, I take the pancake out of my pocket and give it to Julian. Say, look after this; it'll come in handy later, I'm sure. And then I turn into a centipede.
All right.
Wait,
Julian
no. Before I turn into a centipede.
Squeals with fear.
What was that?
Julian immediately squeals with fear the moment that he sees a centipede before him.
Are you afraid of centipedes?
He is absolutely terrified of centipedes.
Okay, well, the next thing
He put up with it. He put up with it. But,
what I was gonna say is, before Hortense turns into a centipede, I hand Julian the pancake and go, when I turn into a centipede, can you put me, or one of you, can you put me on the tree so we don't have to spend like the whole hour me just like centipeding as fast as I can to the tree?
Audacity, would you mind?
I mean, it's a bit weird.
Jill sort of sighs and drops down from the tree and walks over. I'm fine with picking up bugs.
Don't eat her.
All right, am I going to assume I'm a centipede? I guess I'll try and find a hole to crawl in.
I'm sorry, I suggested this.
I will note that wild shape means you keep your mental faculties unlike polymorph.
Okay.
So your
Yes.
mind is still that of Hortense.
Yes, it's
That's-
just your physical
Okay.
stats.
So I'm like an animal, basically.
Your physical stats change, but your mental stats do not.
Okay.
So you are still you. You still have your personality and intelligence. You are just now a centipede. Okay. Jesus.
Do I have to roll to find a hole?
You
Of all the
roll
ways I
dirt
thought
and
this
stuff.
was gonna go, this is not it. Roll an investigation, I guess.
Okay. Roll for hole. 16.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, so
While this is happening, Giel is going to have a look around for prints or tracks or anything that would indicate whether this was, the woodcutter was coming back and this happened gradually, like looking for the comings and goings and other details that might be around the area and the gate.
oh boy. Okay, so straight up, even without rolling it, you can tell that there's not going to be, even if there was something like that, it's not going to be there anymore because the ins and outs of the town, the traffic coming and going, has not stopped. Like when you guys arrived yesterday, you watched people come in and out of the town, and you did so yourself. So, like any footprints or anything like that that's going to be in the path, which is a fairly well looked after path. Like you might even see some of your footprints in the dust there, if anything. So there's nothing obvious, just because of all the traffic.
Yeah, and it's not like there's sort of disturbed ground where the woodcutter was trying to get somewhere as the roots were growing down and has ripped up part of the ground or anything like that.
No, it all seems very even, very.
Okay.
There's a word that I really wanted to use, but now it's gone. Yes, no, there's no massively disturbed earth or anything like that.
And are there any trees in the surrounding area outside the gate that look suspiciously similar to this one?
Roll some dice for that.
Okay.
In the meantime, while you do that, Centipede Hortense with a 16 to find some sort of way into this tree guy. No, is what I'm going to go with.
I don't find a hole?
No. But you're welcome to roll another investigation or nature, close up.
So
he's an unholy tree.
Look, I have to draw the line in the sand somewhere.
okay, so there's absolutely no point of egress into this tree.
No.
Okay, can I? All right, so I have the same. So I have the same stats as like mentally as I would, but I have different like body stats.
Correct.
Intelligence, wisdom, charisma say the same. Strength, dex, con are now that of a centipede.
Okay, when I am a centipede, though, would I have the knowledge and instincts of a centipede, or just its physical form?
Just its physical form.
Okay, so can I? And this it's about to get weirder. Can I lightly, like, bite this tree?
You may.
And see if it tastes weird.
You may.
Okay, is that an attack roll?
No, I'm going to get you to roll a perception for that one.
Okay, cool.
You are using your sense of taste.
I have also rolled, assuming that you wanted me to roll investigation. If it's perception, we'll need to add things to that roll, but...
Perception probably would have been better, and you've got a plus 6, I think. Okay, so that would make it a 19. I think, for perception. So you're looking around. There are trees nearby, but none of them look like this. Even the ones that are similar size, they look like fairly normal trees. This one, at first glance, looks like a normal tree, but the only reason why you're looking at it in any depth is because it's suspicious up close, and you've been told that there's a curse or something.
Yeah.
Hortense.
I got a 7.
That's a
So
7.
I don't think I have any previous knowledge of what trees taste like, which I mean on one hand is disappointing, but also means that Hortense isn't as much of a freak as I was afraid of.
Well, I'm going to go insofar to say that Hortense has used wooden cutlery before. So you have a vague idea of what wood tastes like, even though you don't go out and bite trees.
Yes.
Normally.
This is extraordinary circumstances.
Yes.
But can I, considering I am like really like macro, like really I can see so much detail about this tree.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just roll another nature check to see if it looks different or weird or really close up? And then I think I'm just gonna give up being a centipede.
Okay. Yes, you may. So for that perception, it tastes like wood.
Okay, it tastes like wood. Yeah. I'm gonna come back out of this, and I'm gonna be like, "This was not worth me turning into a centipede." I got a 16 though.
16.
Does it look real weird up close?
Up close and looking at it from here, you can see more of that person shape, to the way that the branches look and the way that the trunk looks. But apart from seeing that in more detail, seeing that humanoid shape, it still just looks like it's a tree. It looks like maybe, I don't know if they've got bonsai trees in D&D settings usually, but like you would know of trees that have been trained into positions, but even then it doesn't look like it's been trained into a shape. It's distinctly person proportioned, human.
Oh,
you think?
okay. Yep. Okay. So how long am I a centipede for? Can I choose to uncentipede, or am I like stuck centipede for a bit?
No, you can choose to end the effect.
Okay. If I go uncentipede, can I turn into anything else within the confines of this session again, or is that it?
I believe you have 2 uses at your level.
I have what? Sorry.
2 uses of it per long rest at your level, I believe.
I would like to uncentipede myself.
Okie dokie.
Do I want to get off the tree before I uncentipede? If I uncentipede on this tree, will it damage the tree?
Roll an intelligence.
Okay, I probably don't want to mud this guy. 22!
You suspect it may be detrimental to the guy. If you, not that you weigh particularly much, but he is not in a position to really bear your weight.
I would like to walk out to the end of one of the branches and like waggle a lot and try and get one of my friends' attention so they can pick me up and put me on the ground, and so I can uncentipede.
Okay, everybody roll a perception check.
I'm really waggling, like all of my little legs are like really going.
Yes, but we've established that the bunch of us are crap at perception checks.
Well, if you don't notice me, I'm gonna have to jump off and hopefully not die. Or just 23! 20! You're nailing it!
Oh, shit.
Alright.
Amazing. Okay. Julian, you do not notice how...
I feel like Julian's purposefully not looking at the centipede.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That tracks so nicely. Yeah, Julian, you are avoiding looking at the centipede at all costs. Audacity, on the other hand, with a nat 20, and Gil with a dirty 20. You've both been following the path of this centipede version of Hortense across the bark and watched her bite this tree person, and then do interpretive dance at you at the end of one of the branches.
Audacity kind of walks over to stand under the branches, looks up like, "Are you having fun there? Was it tasty?"
Is it soft?
Kind of looks at the centipede, watches the dance. "You having fun there? Wiggle, wiggle."
Can I talk as me?
Nope.
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 I'm like jumping up and down, being like, "Oh, what off?
Oh, you're bouncing.
Pick me up!" I try and like. I don't know how to communicate as a centipede that I want. We really should have had like some kind of like cue or something before I did this. But like I'm like bouncing around and like
should have happened before this decision was made.
At this point, Julian would have surely noticed that Audacity is speaking to the centipede, so he turns around and kind of just...
not the centipede.
Audacity is
Hortense.
busy sassing the centipede, I'd like to clarify.
Fair enough. And he grabs just picks up a small stick on the ground and just kind of like looks away, but like stretches out his arm towards it and giving it enough space to...
If you keep bouncing like that, you're gonna fall off, and then you'll go.
I run onto the stick.
All right, and I just...
Is that what you want?
Kind of probably a little too swiftly bring it down onto the ground, but drop it gently onto the ground.
I turn back into regular Hortense, and I turn that to Audacity and go, I clearly wanted you to get me off the tree.
I'm sorry for not studying centipede interpretive dance.
Look, I tried to find a hole. I didn't find it. I obviously tried to bite it to see if it tastes different, and it didn't. And then I wanted off. I reckon it's definitely a person. Absolutely.
That was worthwhile.
Did you have fun as a centipede?
It was fine.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that if we ever need to get somewhere quickly, I can probably carry Gil. And if you can turn into something small and a bit less skittery, probably carry you as well. And then that's like most of us getting somewhere quickly.
That works.
Yeah, it works well.
I mean, I'm not... Julian, sorry to say, but I'm not carrying you into Omen. You can probably fly, you creepy bugger.
I reckon we should go talk to this mayor.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Just show up and say that, hi, we're nosy outsiders. You know, that might actually work. Hortense, do you want to take the lead on this conversation? You do know really well.
Lead into your strengths, guys.
Alright, well, I guess we're gonna go harass the mayor.
Alright, cool. We've been going for an hour and a half. Does anyone need a quick break before we do that? Or are we good?
Potentially.
Potentially?
I would not mind a quick break.
Alright, how about we have a quick refill of tea and go to the bathroom in two separate endeavours. Break, and we will resume. I saw that expression, Mandy. And we will resume shortly.
Reset all T systems. In and out.
I will also leave the call briefly because hopefully when I come back I'll have actual people faces.
Sure. Oh dear.
Hello. She exists. It takes like 15 minutes to blow when I did not take this into account. We're downstairs at the moment.
Oh well. God damn it, that's gonna be there in my head for the rest of the day. You're lucky
The
I
show has
like that
finally
play.
worked on someone who is not Mandy, huh?
Look, I enjoy that play. That is my favorite play. I'm not mad about it.
Not mad, just disappointed.
Oh, you have the song from Pyro stuck in your head. I thought it was about the joke in the out of character text chat that you were getting stuck in your head.
Haven't even seen that. I may be getting my context wrong.
No, I have no idea what that comment is in reference to. None whatsoever.
I'm familiar with the DuckTales theme song.
No, sorry.
Hold on. Let me think. Oh, okay, no, now I get it. No, that's not, I am familiar with the DuckTales theme song, but I didn't get that from that. Now I have. I'd rather the Pirates of Penzance song in my head, thank you. I will aggressively hum this to keep the DuckTales theme out of my head. It is a completely different vibe to what I'm going for today.
You've seen the Doctor Who filk of the DuckTales theme song, right?
No.
Doctor Who.
Okay.
I'm back.
Makes sense.
In that celebration of David Tennant was cast as Scrooge McDuck.
Ah. That makes sense.
You said Doctor Who of the DuckTales theme song, and I almost asked, was it played on a theremin?
Be quite good on a ceremony, actually. Oh, we're just waiting for that to be getting it back, and then we're good. I'm glad we had all those conversations about pastries and stuff in character. That was lovely.
What was that?
I'm glad we had all those conversations about pastry in character.
I was about to say, I think this is going to be this is going to be a really fun episode to re-listen to. Actually.
I'm just glad that my character has sparked a quest. That's goals, honestly, for campaigns.
Yeah. Oh dear. I am in fact going to have to make a bakery chart. Just because it's funny. Oh dear. Oh boy. Sure did take a turn though.
In the other game, my character canonically had 40 children, so we had to have a specific chart to determine if people that we met in the city, because it was set in a city, if they were related to me or not. So whenever there was because I was playing a dwarf, whenever there was a dwarf, I was like to the DM, I was like, "Are they one of my kids?" And he'd be like, "Let me check." Yes, I did not have to name it. But in the game we're playing now, I'm an elf who grew up on a commune, so I have 40 mothers.
Oh my gosh.
It makes me laugh.
Oh dear. Alright, so where we're currently at. We've just investigated around this tree and have established that it is in fact a man. And are now off to find the leader of Kiplay. Tell me how you're going about doing this.
I reckon we should just walk to the biggest house.
I think we'd agreed to have Hortense take the lead on this one because we are being nosy outsiders. we have a group tank of being nosy. What's your DPS?
Run anyway.
Okay.
I don't think nosy is necessarily a specific stat, but if there was, I'd have it. Also, I've just realized I have a +5 to wisdom that I've just never used.
Well, you will be playing a Wizcaster, but anyway, I digress slightly. Alright, so Hortense, in that case, you have to tell me what you're doing, if everyone's following you.
Oh, I'm just gonna set off for the biggest house. Because I'm assuming that the mayor will live in the biggest house.
Sure. Okay, roll me a perception. Everyone is welcome to, if they like, but especially Hortense.
Mm-hmm.
15.
All right. Cool. And 13 and a 15. Cool. And I'm not going to have Omen roll because you've done quite well. All right. Is Gil going to be looking, or is it just these three? They.
You?
Are you going to
no.
roll a perception too? Or? You don't have to.
How are we doing at the moment? Yeah, looks like I probably. Let's just give it a try.
Just for shits and giggles, eh?
Just for shits and giggles. No, plus, not F.
14. All right, that's fairly respectable. Okay, so looking around the town, the way that it's sort of laid out is it butts onto the side of a hill. So you've got the gate on one side at the lowest point, and then the bulk of the town around this hill, and then there's a bit of a forested band a little bit, kind of like a park, I guess. And then there's a very large manor house at the top of this hill. And it is distinctly larger and more opulent than any of the other buildings. Like, not obscenely so, but like it still looks like it belongs in this town. But it's still definitely bigger and more fancy than everywhere else.
Alright. I'm going to be a little bit atypical and explain why I'm walking towards this big house before I head off. So, everyone, I think we should... It makes sense to me, at least, that the mayor would live in the biggest house. And that's the biggest, fanciest house. So I reckon we should go there. Even if that's not his house, they will almost certainly know which house is the mayor's.
I mean, if that's not the mayor's house, then whoever lives there is probably more important than the mayor. May as well talk to them instead.
That works for me?
We go there, we talk to whoever's there.
Yep.
All right. Cool. You guys are going up to the big manor house. Wonderful. So you head up there, and I'm going to roll off those perceptions that you just did. As you get towards this manor house, you're going through a path that goes in between this little parky tree bit between most of the town and up there. And as you approach, sort of off to your left a bit, you can hear the sounds of construction underway. But beyond that, it's a fairly normal jaunt through a town. And you can see as you get close to the manor house that there is a guard standing on each side of the door.
Hello. We were hoping to speak to the master or mistress, or a third gender-neutral term, which my brain is telling me would be mattress, but I think that's not right.
I think that's a Tumblr post.
It is a Tumblr post. I'm ecologically minded, so I recycle everything, including other people's jokes.
I haven't heard that one before. I like that.
It's really good.
The guard's kind of... Sorry, what was that?
Audacity is kind of like standing a step behind and a step off to the side in kind of the bodyguard position on Hortense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, also, because I think I forgot to say this, I did take my pancake back from Julian.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Okay.
Critical.
All right, sure.
Is it visible? Like,
Spare
is it
your
like, visibly
voice.
poking out of your pocket?
It's back in my pocket, yeah.
Yeah, but like, would the guards like for example, if I walked around with like half a pizza in my pocket, I feel like people would know.
I've got deep, like, skirt pockets.
Okay.
You can, like, skirt pockets, you can hide a full bread roll in there.
Yeah, fair
A
enough.
bottle of wine or what have you. It's not like jeans pockets. I'm not trying to shove, like, a pancake into a jeans pocket. It's like a deep skirt pocket. It's
Fair enough.
fine.
Pockets graded by which baked goods you can smuggle unobtrusively.
Oh, I'm going to have to call this the Great Pastry Debate when I put it on YouTube.
Yep.
The bakery episode. Okay, cool. So you go up and talk to these guards, and they sort of look at you and then look at each other and then give the group a look, and then look back at you. Is the mayor expecting you?
Not yet. He's expecting to be expecting.
Roll a persuasion.
I got a -1 to persuasion, so I'm sure this is going to go excellently. That's a 7. Folks, do you want to give me an assist, Audacity, by looking real intimidating?
I mean, that is pretty much how Audacity's positioned at this point, so...
All right. I will let you roll your persuasion with advantage in that case.
He can smell a whiff of pancake off me, and he's not particularly impressed.
All right, roll your persuasion again. So you're rolling it with advantage because Audacity is looming behind you.
I love this. I love D&D. The best game ever made.
I certainly play it with absolute nutters.
10.
10. Average. Better. It's not great, but better. Okay, so the guards kind of look at you and go, well, Lord Kiplay doesn't really take audiences with random what have yous, and just sort of looks over at the group again. And
Does he not represent the entire populace? And isn't this not I assume, a democratic society? Should there not be open discourse between himself and members of his community?
Ma'am, I mean this with the highest respect, but we ain't seen you lot before.
I'm very short. It's not my fault you're not attentive.
So you kind of just look at each other and then look very pointedly at Audacity, and then at Gil, and then at Omen, and then back at Hortense.
Hey, I said you hadn't seen me. You can't prove I'm not a citizen. Them, maybe. Me, no.
Ma'am, I can assure you we
Don't-
have
don't
means and
worry
ways
about
to do that.
Hortense. She's a little odd. She's my grandmother, and she got attacked by some nasty skeleton-like folk just outside of town. And in order to protect her, I really need to find out what's going on.
Julian's turn to roll a persuasion.
You'd have to be adopted, though. Because I'm guessing you're not an elf.
True.
Although, what am I?
You are an elf, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a full elf. I'm not a half elf. Although, if I'm your grandmother, I could still work.
Yeah, you could be quarter elf.
Yeah.
I think Audacity's... Well, that's some behind the scenes info.
I almost revealed your secret backstory there.
Not get into arguments about D&D phenotyping. Let's,
Oh, nice. We wasted you wasted all your good rolls on noticing me as a caterpillar.
I think my best roll so far has been a 12.
Yeah, no, the guards just sort of shaking their heads, and they're like, skeletons on the roads? Nah, sorry.
Could you just ask him if he wants to have a chat? If he doesn't, it's your town, it's your skeleton problem. We'll just go someplace else.
Look, can I interject here? If the mayor's actually the one doing anything around here, could you tell him that some fog walkers have showed up, been attacked by some mysterious creatures, and then found a town that's dealing with some weird curses? We're getting a bit suspicious about this town, and we'd like our fears allayed by somebody who is running the place. If that's not the mayor, we'll go somewhere else and find who is running the place and talk to them.
You roll your persuasion at advantage, please.
What was that?
Roll a persuasion and do it at advantage.
Please roll well. Do it for Grandma.
Hey.
15. Okay, so you can see the two guards kind of look at Audacity as she's talking and then turn and look at each other for a long moment, and then they sort of frown a little bit, and they look back at you and go, wait here, and one of them ducks inside the building, and the other one is sort of on edge a little bit, just sort of standing there awkwardly, and kind of has one hand on the pommel of their sword at their hip, but in a less impressive way than when Audacity does it. Like, he's just sort of like a, oh gosh, like it's not even with the right hand, you know?
Like, Audacity just kind of looks down at his hand, looks back at him, grins, showing the pointy devil teeth that tieflings tend to have. It's like, most places I've seen with guards, for this sort of situation, they'll have a runner or they'll have 3 guards, because from the look on your face, I think you see what's wrong with the situation. Now, we don't mean you any harm, but I think we'll all just take a step back and you'll feel a little more comfortable. Is that sounding good?
I think that sounds quite reasonable.
Audacity at this point takes a step back and smiles magnanimously.
It's a great word.
Having completely taken ownership of the situation.
Hortense stays where Hortense is. I'm not intimidating to anyone.
Oh, it's a brag.
Oh dear. Okay, so after probably about 10 minutes of this long, awkward waiting, with this slightly on edge guard, the other guard reappears at the door and he looks at you all. Okay, you're all still here. Good. Lord Kiplay would like to see you all. Please follow me.
Oh, Lord Kiplay, that does sound fancy.
So he has the name of the town.
But does the town have his name? Which way round is it?
Probably the town has, but you know what I mean, same name. Which means he's owed town money.
Those poor guards.
I didn't touch them. I didn't them.
Are you going to follow the guard into the manor house?
Yes, I am going to.
Yes.
Alright. Cool. So you head inside the manor house, and it is definitely an opulent place. It's done up with nice carpets, and there's moulding on the wall, and nice wallpaper, and all sorts of treasures and trinkets lining the hallways, etc. And the guard leads you up to a particular set of double doors and pushes them open, and it opens onto an office. And there's got that huge wall of bookshelves, and there's a big desk in the middle, and that kind of thing. And there's a man sitting at the desk, trying to look very pompous and important. But he looks like he's probably in about his 40s, I guess. And he's just sort of got his hands clasped on his desk and is looking at you all as you come in.
Sorry, I missed that last part.
No, he's just looking at you all as you come into the office.
I would like to try and intimidate him by nonchalantly eating my pocket pancake.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and roll it.
At this.
Can I have advantage?
Absolutely not.
Why do you keep praising it like that?
Because it's funny.
But it also breaks my heart.
It's funny.
Oh dear.
10.
He's off put but not intimidated.
He's like, this is weird, but fine.
Why is she eating a pancake while maintaining eye contact? That's weird shit. Fogwalkers are weird. What a first impression.
So we got like some lint and like a Werther stuck to it too.
Lint and Werther's flavored pancake.
Oh my god.
All right.
Butterscotch fluff flags off.
I'm just gonna take a step forward, not like an obnoxious step closer, but just like just in front of Hortense, and I just say, "Never mind her." Is
I'm not sure I'm enjoying this narrative.
not feeling very well. This is what she needs to do to feel a bit better. We were all just attacked by some undead creatures, some skeletons, and we've also heard word of a cursed tree out the front of your town. Well, a man that was cursed and turned into a tree, perhaps, out the front of your town, and we were hoping to get to the bottom of it. Not because most of us aren't nosy. It's more just for a matter of mutual safety and protection for everyone. You know. Is there anything you could tell us, or if there's anything we could do to help this situation? We're more than happy to help.
Wow, you fogwalkers really do just get to the point, don't you? Well, there are several points within your set of questions which bear addressing. Let's start with the undead. This is the first report that I've had of undead. Where, in fact, did you encounter them, by chance?
Just outside of your town.
On the way here from Boblin.
Oh, that is a worry. We do get a lot of people coming to and fro from Boblin. If there are undead on the road, goodness, the world has become quite a hostile place since the eruption. Oh dear. And he starts writing things down on a piece of paper on his desk, and his brow is furrowed, and he looks quite worried and concerned.
So you've never heard of anything like this before?
No. No, occasionally we might get this word of a bandit. Puella Fortress is relatively nearby, but bandits don't often attack people, but they do. And sometimes wolves sometimes attack people on the roads, but undead, that's unheard of.
I must say, I would have preferred bandits, to be honest. They're a little more straightforward to deal with.
Yes, I would agree. Bandits you can lock up in prison. The undead don't typically tend to care.
They also don't care if you stab them, I was finding. I mean, I'm used to dealing with bandits on the road, and, you get your sword and you kind of stick them. But you just kind of hit air and clickety-clackety bones on a skeleton.
He kind of wrinkles his nose, but then nods. Yes, I suspect that is correct, too.
So, if you're sending your guards out that way, make sure they're carrying hammers.
What about the tree, then?
Say that again?
What about the tree, then?
Oh dear, one problem at a time, I think. And he sort of picks up his pen again and he's writing things down, and he does sort of give Audacity a little bit of a nod for that little nugget of advice. So we are going to have to accompany each trip that goes between here and Boblin in this case. Oh dear, if our resources weren't stretched enough as it is. Squitchy, 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 squitchy. It's a very noisy pen. And he does not seem particularly willing to talk about the tree. It's not the first time people have been unwilling to talk about that, mind you, but...
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, he's just writing stuff down. He's focusing on the undead problem.
The Audacity sweeps her cloak off in a dramatic gesture, steps forward and does a reasonably theatrical bow, including the wings kind of spreading to make it look fancier. It's kind of the wing-up version of the heel click in a bow, that sort of slightly pretentious, clearly learned this from a theatre sort of bow.
Yes.
Lord Kiplay, if I may make an observation here. We've been finding that people are not particularly willing to talk about this tree, and that the general sense is that it's a problem that'll go away on its own. I'm just gonna say that where we're from. Now, this may just be some wild fogwalker speculation. I got to say, I love the title of fogwalker. It makes it very easy to explain the situation. Don't get me distracted. As a fogwalker, where we're from, if people are acting like this, it means that they're either being threatened or they're up to something. Now, I'm not trying to throw any accusations around your fine town, but I'd like to know what's happening with this tree and people being turned into trees that are mysteriously trees but not trees. You see?
It's complicated.
People turning into trees is rarely simple.
Yes. I feel as it's probably going to be along those lines. And I'm going to get everybody to roll me a perception at this point. Hello, Oat. Hello, my Oat. You gonna say hello? You say hello?
Oh, is that tiny baby?
Hello. You're just gonna squeak into the microphone. You're not gonna say hello.
Oh,
You can see people on the screen, can't you? It's Mandy and Lee and James.
I would turn my camera on, but I'm sitting very bisexually.
Fair enough.
Hey,
That's my tea.
Gil's good at things.
That's my phone, honey. Go to daddy.
What's that? What's that?
I'll come and give you a cuddle in a minute. Blink, blink. Okay, what do we got? I got completely distracted by my child. Alright, we got a 12, we got a 21, we got an 18.
Yeah, Vegas is on the out of character channel.
Right. And a 15. Okay, splendid. Okay, so Gil, you're not tense, you're just very alert. You hear it before everybody else. There's sort of a distant, oh, ma'am, no, and a bit of a heavy footsteps come up the hall. But you all hear this before it happens. You can hear this imminent approach. And then the doors are flung open, revealing a indignant teenager who is dressed in very fine
already
dress.
hiding behind a piece of furniture.
Audacity already has one of her daggers in her hand.
So there's this teenager who jumps into the room. She's dressed very nicely. Oh, poor sad baby. And she declares as she bursts into the room, Father, why is it not ready yet? And Lord Kiplay just sort of goes tense. Darling, I'm in a meeting.
I would like to offer the teenager a Werther's.
She sort of blinks at you. Who are these people?
New friends.
Oh, well, hi, I guess. Father, this is really unacceptable. Why are you making me wait? Darling, please, could we speak about it later? No, you keep blowing me off. And they start talking backwards and forwards, her demanding his attention, and he's just like, please go away. Feel free to interject whenever you like. But they're just going at this unless you do so.
So Audacity just kind of is holding the dagger in a throwing position, and just, but not like threatening, but kind of holding it in the way as though to immediately fling it into somebody's eye socket if she decides to. But, like, down by her side, but that sort of grip. Just looks at the teenager and says, "Excuse me, miss, can I get your attention for a moment, please?"
What is it? I'm busy.
See, what you're doing is that you're busy rushing into a room with a bunch of armed strangers and making a ruckus. That's not a good idea. Just trying to watch out for your safety. Don't burst into a room with armed strangers and make a ruckus.
Oh, please, like you are any kind of threat to me, and I'm talking to my father, so please kindly mind your own business.
We're also talking to your father, and we were here first, so maybe you could kindly mind your own business.
Excuse you, I live here. I was here first. And Lord Kiplay just sort of puts his head in his hands a little bit.
Audacity steps towards this teenager, knife still down by her side, and just slowly extends the wings to their full, 3.5 meter extent, and just bares her teeth, but in a little less pleasant of a grin, and just, were you now? That's fascinating. I would like to roll another intimidation check because that is.
Please do. Please do.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh no.
Apparently, teenagers are not affected by tieflings.
Hang on. I'm going to assist. Audacity. I'm like, oh, seriously, she's when she gets like this, like seriously, you we all just need to calm down.
Okay.
So is that a advantage?
Yeah, do it with advantage. Roll it again. Hey, that's the business. Good cop, bad cop. It works every time. Except when it doesn't. Okay, so you've got this spoiled, pompous teenage girl who kind of looks at Audacity in defiance, but then sort of looks at Julian and then looks back at Audacity. You can kind of see her shrink a bit, and she's like, "You've not heard the end of this!" And she turns around and stomps out the door. And you can just look back at Lord Kiplay, and he's just got his face in his hands. And he's just shaking his head, and you're just looking at a defeated man.
Audacity just kind of refolds the wings and just shrugs them back into place. Slips the dagger back into its hiding place in her boot. It's like, now, please forgive my rudeness, Lord Kiplay, but that interruption was giving me a bit of a headache, and for her own safety, she needs to learn not to do that, because we are, in fact, a bunch of armed, strange weirdos.
My daughter does not act rationally a lot of the time.
I mean, I know the feeling, but just if she does that to some of the people I've met out in the world, it'll go a little worse.
It is a lesson that she does very well to learn.
Well, hopefully, I can be a non-injurious lesson to her.
Well, that would be good. I do apologize for her. It's difficult trying to toe the line between treating her well and giving her too much.
What did she want anyway?
She feels as though she is mature enough to have her own home, and so she wants her own manor house built nearby.
She's 15!
Which is proving to be excessively difficult for more than one reason. And, well, her demands have put her into a foul mood because no one in town seems to think very highly of her anymore. Which makes her attitude worse. Which makes them hate her more. I really do not know what to do.
She should come with an adventure on us. Maybe that will.
Should be eaten
Yes,
alive.
manage 2 different NPCs on an ongoing quest.
Three, technically, if we're including the Agami.
I'm not talking about a long one.
Oh no, she'd be eaten alive. She's
Skeleton's
lived in the
came
lap
from
of
a swamp,
luxury all
right?
her life.
Seems
I
like
don't know if she could do it.
it seems like the right place to.
No, I do appreciate the suggestion, but I don't think it is the solution. As it is, they already blame her. So, I don't know that her going off on some gallivanting quest would go down very well with anyone.
Okay.
Given that this mayor character seems slightly distracted and/or distractible, and Giel is currently hidden behind furniture, I would like to make a roll to sidle up a little closer to the desk and see if I can see anything interesting that the mayor is working on, or are there any details that I can see? Keeping in mind I am illiterate.
Okay, sure. Alright, we'll start with, let's roll you a stealth. How about we start there?
Yeah.
Also, if Audacity notices Gil not trying to not be noticed, she would be kind of trying to keep the mayor's attention on her. But like that
And
depends.
I am definitely looking for like diagrams and maps and things, not like it's not as stupid as it sounds.
Yeah, okay.
Only mostly.
Well, we'll start with the stealth. That is a natural 20.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Giel is good at like two things.
Yes, definitely. Alright, cool.
Seeing things to hide from.
Alright. I don't think anyone has a passive perception of 24 or higher, so nobody notices Gil at
I
all.
don't think it's possible to have a passive perception of 24.
Oh, it is. You have to have feats and stuff, but it is. And certainly not at your level anyway. But yes, so you sneak up to the desk. Now I'll get you to roll either an investigation or a perception to try and find the thing that you think might be useful.
I would prefer to roll a perception, and I'm going to justify it by saying I'm not searching for anything in particular. I'm just having a scan of the desk and seeing what, if anything, jumps out, or if anything seems particularly relevant. Or
Okay, sure, go for it. $22, very nice. Okay, so looking over Lord Kiplay's desk, there are a lot of notes. There's a lot of paper and stuff with a lot of words you can't read. There are a few pictures on some of the pieces of paper. One of them looks distinctly like a house floor plan. And there's a few different versions of it, a couple with a few walls in different places, and some with whole rooms crossed out and annotated a whole bunch, again, with a whole lot of words. Most of it's words, but you can also see there is a map of this part of the region, very similar to the map that you all have with you.
Yep.
And it has a few places crossed out on the map, and some roads have been traced with a different pen to the one that it was originally drawn with, and things like that.
all right. I don't notice any house seals or anything like the. There's not a seal like the one that we got off of that business card from the last place or anything like that.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely a seal, like the kind that you stab into wax. He's got one of those. It's sitting near his inkwell. And like he's got a little set of stationery, little letters and envelopes and whatnot with the family crest on them and stuff like that. But nothing hugely that stands out. Oh, darling. Yeah, so that's what you see with that. And judging by the grumpiness of my toddler, we may want to call it there for the night, unless there's something anyone is dying to do right now.
No, I think we're good.
I think this is a pretty good natural stopping point.
Okay. Great. Oh dear. All right. Please do not pick up and drop or spill my tea. Thank you, darling. All right. Well, this has been a wild ride. I'm not gonna lie, but it's been fun. It's been great to be back into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop my recording, and we will reconvene directly. But everybody say bye to our audience for now.
You cut out halfway
And the
through.
cat's here too. Oh my gosh. Ah.